what is a good motivation? Like,
I don't know, for the greater good of people or something.
if I,
Not to like.
who cares? Who cares? Who cares the greater good? What's the point of the greater good?
Welcome to Smileys. Today it's a really special episode because we have a returning friend, Niflrog, with us, and of course my co-host Lee. Hi Lee, how are you? Do you want to introduce our guest again?
Amora. I'm a bit run down today. You may notice, you may hear. I'm doing my best. We're joined by Nif. I don't think Nif needs an introduction like last time. We went over this already. But if Nif would like, you can feel free to introduce yourself.
I have the standard introduction. I'm Niflrog, and I talk about Malazan anywhere I can find a discussion about the subject, and also some other not so popular, obscure, and mind-twisting fantasy and science fiction, and books in general. In hindsight, yeah, I like to talk about stuff that is mind-twisting.
So right away, do you want to sell Book of the New Sun to us? Because you've been selling it quite hard for the last few days.
I mean, I was honestly surprised by the reaction it had on the Malazan subreddit. It's Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe. And, by doing what some the fancy intellectual people call like comparative reading or comparative analysis, you actually, by comparing Malazan to other stuff, you kind of realize what actually, many aspects of what Malazan actually is and how it works and why people like it. And I think that's a fascinating topic, actually.
Okay, right.
I have identified like 3 broad categories of people that like Malazan for entirely different reasons.
Okay.
You have people that like, we should call it militaristic fantasy. And these are the people that enjoy Reaper's Gale and Dead House Gates the most. You have the people that like the epic things, like Tolkien. And then you like the people that like to be in general challenged by not only fantasy, by fiction that is tricky to understand. So you have these 3 groups. Of course, there's a lot of overlap. And when you take something like The First Apocalypse by Bakker and Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe, and then The Black Company, and you compare them with Malazan and you see the recommendations like, you like Malazan, then you should read The Black Company or Book of the New Sun. And seeing the reactions, it's super rich. The replies you get from the responses that people have to these different forms of fantasy is like, some people love the Black Company and Malazan. Some people love Malazan but can get into the Black Company. Others are hardcore Malazan fans like myself and like Book of the New Sun, but others hate Book of the New Sun. And then you can kind of see what, like, Malazan is so broad and has so many things in it that you have like basically something for any kind of reader in there.
No, that's the issue I have whenever people say, I like this book, so what's the next book I should read or what's the next series I should read? You have to like specify exactly what you're looking for, isn't it? So just because you finish Book of the Fallen, no, the type of people who will pick up Kharkanas after that and the type of people who will pick up, say, Path to Ascendancy are completely different. So it's always the same thing asked again and again, and it's just always the same answer. What did you like? What are you looking for? So
yeah, that's super important,
right?
I think.
So Niflrog, do you want to tell us how many times you read the series?
I have read Malazan.
I just like asking that.
Once. But I mean, it's maybe not the most. It's not super honest and a super honest answer because I've read the full series in the way most people read books one time. But I spent inordinate amounts of time rereading passages and sections of books and my highlights. I read on ebook, so I do highlights of the books I'm reading. So last time I checked, I had it was something like 20 to 50 highlights per book. And this includes Esselman and Kharkanas. So we're talking about very short from thousands of highlights, very short to 1,000 highlights.
Yeah.
So I read those all the time. I read the wiki, and from the wiki, I jump into entire sections of the books. When people ask that this is how the sausage is made. When people ask questions in the subreddit, I will try to track down the precise answer and reread entire pages trying to locate the best way of answering the question. So yeah, I read the book for like reading it like once, but I have read passages 10, 20 times, no doubt.
Yeah. Okay, so now right
And
now
there's something else. So
Lee is here.
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lee?
go on.
I don't have
No,
anything
I
to
was just
say. More, I was going to say something about me.
I was just going to say that Lee is here and you're here, so who's answering all the questions on the sub?
I mean, I
That's an
take like
interesting
3
point.
hours to answer one question. Then Nif comes along, drops like 3 blinds, and just answers it better than I do. So, you know. And then Nif comes along and says, yeah, but you actually provide the quote. I'm like, whatever. Who needs to fucking quote anyway if you can answer it better than the quote says?
No, but you
No,
always
the
pull
thing
out
is
the
this.
quotes. That's something yeah.
There are two things. I used to answer more questions in the past, but there are two things going on. On the one hand, after some time, you notice that people ask kind of the same questions time and time again. So when you had this change in the moderation team and the historian in the sub, I don't know what's his actual name.
Yeah.
I know his username, but I don't know his name. He's the German guy, the historian, Baronian, and he started with this project of like archiving everything. Like most of the standard questions are already answered. And by this, I'm not saying that just by me, but by people that have read the series many more times than myself. And they have gone into very deep analysis of what's going on. And all those answers are already there. And now they have a reference. They are in the frequently asked questions. So I try not to re-answer many of those. And on the other hand, the thing is that I'm in the last part of my PhD thesis. I usually don't have the time to do all the things I did in the early days. I don't have the time to post all the quotes. Like sometimes I will answer like literally from my phone. I'm waiting for my PhD director to discuss something for a paper. And I'm like this, like answering. And that's the reason why you often see that I do super silly mistakes in the spelling of things. And then I come and I try to edit. But sometimes it's really a really funny mistake, misspelling, typo. So I just leave it like that. So yeah, the thing is that I don't answer as the same way I did before. But in that sense, I see that Lee and some others of the newest Malazan generation are stepping up and answering like very thoroughly all that's asked on the sub.
And the thing is, they don't seem to get bored of answering the same things. I think by now, okay, just because this is a podcast, I think shall we just say that this is spoilers all? I think let's just be clear about that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and also, in the interest of transparency, both Nif and I are not exactly sober, and so just declaring it. Yeah, sorry, Lee, I interrupted one of you.
No. I mean,
that's where we are wrong because nobody knows how many of my videos I have recorded being sober. So you have no point of comparison.
Don't tell me you did all that whole.
An apology to Kharkanas. Do you really think that a sober person can rant about Kharkanas for 45 minutes? Really?
I am shattered. Seriously. I love that video. Don't tell me you were all high on that.
Not high, just drunk.
Your Ericsson here, that video where you were really pissed off?
No.
And you said, this is a safe space and all that. You remember that whole thing?
Of course.
There was a huge... that video. Yeah, that if you tell me that you were drunk and pissed off, I'll buy that. But not the Kharkanas apology.
That one was sober, actually.
Right.
That one was
so
sober.
Now we've established a frame of reference.
Yeah.
Okay. No, sorry. Before I said spoilers all, I was about to say that Lee has explained why did Itkovian take up the Itlanima's redemption at this point and not after the battle and things like that. I think that exact question, he must have answered it at least, twice a week, thrice a week, at least. I don't know why he never gets bored though. Why don't you get bored, Lee?
That particular question is actually a bit of a sore spot because some readers don't take particularly well to that. It's like generally most of members of ICE is a bit contentious because it's a bit hidden in multiple POVs, and it's a contrast to Deadhouse Gate, for instance, which is very clear cut. And this guy's a hero, and he died as a hero. doing heroic things. Meanwhile, Govian and like Whiskey Jack and Dewjack are doing shady shit. Well, it's not so much Govian, but for the greater good, he should have kept them around. Bollocks, but and so sometimes it's gonna be a bit contentious. Like maybe you should have let him go, and like no, but just take my word for this, please. I can't explain any better. It's in the book. It comes up later again. Please just trust me on this one. So I've more or less resorted is the word I'm looking for, to saying read and find out eventually because I got bored.
No, you used to have a strict policy of not saying Rafo to anyone, isn't it?
I don't like giving like a strict Rafo answer, like just fuck it, just Rafo, except if it's a very obvious one, like 4 books later and I can't say shit.
Yeah. No, I don't like when people have like 1 chapter remaining or half a book remaining and then they have all these doubts. What else can you say? Just finish the book and come back.
Dude, I don't get it. Who had the policy of never saying read and find out?
Me.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
It's not like
there is a problem with the read and find out. It's like it's the following. You can always say read and find out. There's nothing fun in that. The fun part is you as a rereader, as someone that knows the entire story, thinking really hard about what information you can convey to them that has already been communicated with some perspective so that they can figure it out themselves without spoiling it. That's what the Malazan subreddit has turned into a form of art. And it was a form of art before me. I just practiced it. But when I was reading the series, like the Book of the Fallen the first time, there were veterans there that were doing that with me. And I was like, I like this. I like that they are not just saying keep reading. They were being mindful of the point in the series where I was and trying to give me information, like highlighting things that I already knew so that I could figure things out instead of just saying, read and find out or spoiling the series for me. And for me, that's a form of art that is kept in the Malazan subreddit that I appreciate a lot. And there's something that I would like to stress. It's like it was there when I got into the sub. There's a lot of people that I respect a lot because of that. They don't post that much anymore, but all these elders, like I call them, these elder bloods, like people that were reading the series when they were coming out back in the day and have reread the series like 10 times. I appreciate that a lot. Like the guy that created the Reddit, I think he is still a sub, a mod, but he almost never. I think he commented on me. I think he commented on one of my comments once, something like, "Oh, I like to see how this Reddit has evolved. I like what you write," and I'm like, this guy created this sub like in 2011, so I really appreciate that part.
And the thing is, you continue doing that, right? Because when I was,
no, there is one guy that loves to answer questions. The thing is that he seems to have like prefabricated responses. Okay, I'm not going to say it. Continue. Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, it's got a bit personal, if you can't tell.
Yeah. So, okay, all right. So both of you, you not read PTA, and I'm like almost nearing the end. So but it's a lot of fun. I think you guys should pick it up. Nif, I remember you saying the last time you were here that you were reading Dancer's Lament. So.
Yep, I'm still reading it.
Yeah.
It's a boss.
Yeah.
Don't blame me.
It's a fun series. No, I'm
super cool. I really enjoy it. But you work 12 hours trying to make a small modification in a method for a super complicated problem, and then you just can't read anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still.
But I don't know, how do you like get back to it after? For me, if I stop a book for a day or two, it's really hard to go back to it. So I try to like finish in a go.
My memory works in very weird ways. Like I did a break in Dead House Gate of like 10 months, and when I started reading again, I was like still like just the same. I don't know why my memory does that, because I will forget very basic things, but then there are some other things that I can't remember for a year, 2 years. I don't know how it works. I can't just stop a book and then pick it up again and continue it. I don't know. It just happens.
No, not with me. So, okay. So I think we should ask Nif to tell us what he thinks of this guy who is sort of an idiot, sort of does things in the name of quote unquote love, and goes around giving away part of his powers to people, and incites civil war. So I just want to know what you think of this guy, Nif.
Okay, that last one is libel. I'm objecting on grounds of libel.
You're on my team. You're my co-host.
Can I take a break to grab more beer and then I will defend the
Yes.
drag?
Oh.
We'll need it.
The chat.
Yeah. Okay.
The chat drag, because I mean the memes that I do about him. Memes are funny because they are they are humor, but they also contain a nugget of truth in them. So I do think Draconis is a chat and Rusander is. I mean, it's Lorix's grandfather.
Don't say
what
it.
else do I need to say?
God damn it.
What else do I need to say? It's Lorix's grandfather. How good can he be? Like, dude.
God damn it.
Again, a moment.
Okay, grab your beer. Yeah, we are waiting. Okay, Lee, I think we should prepare our defenses.
Okay, 1 sec.
Yeah.
Okay. Preparing our defenses.
Yeah. Actually, what's wrong with Lorik? What's so bad about Lorik? Poor fellow.
He's an uptight virtue signaling dipshit. So
Virtue signaling. So what? Virtue signaling shouldn't. I don't know. At least he's trying.
He's trying, but he's very overbearing and from a position of
He's a good foil for people like Barathol to show that you're just virtue signaling. So
he's like a holier than thou dude, and he's an asshole. I don't mind Lorik. Nif does. I don't, but I can see where he's coming from.
No. Right. So Nif is back with the
drag.
The whole lot of booze. So.
The drag.
Yeah.
People say that a character is dumb or stupid because they fail at something. When you transpose this to our history, the people that fail and get it wrong are usually the most brilliant one. If you never propose anything, you're never wrong. And this is something like, you take Napoleon, great military mind. Oh, look how he failed miserably in this campaign or in this battle. Of fucking course, after conquering most of Europe. You take Newton. Oh, well, Newton's theory is not ultimately correct. Dude, to this day, we still use his physics. He was so wrong that we are still using his physics despite knowing, that it is not completely correct. Of course, it is only the people that actually do things that get it wrong. Draconis was resolving a very important issue that, at least within the context of Kharkanas, it seems that not very many people understood at the time, and that it was a recurring issue. The issue is related to the chaos order dynamics and the Gate of Dark. He put forward a solution, and the solution failed half a million years after it was implemented? Okay, let's say 200,000, whatever. It is easy from the future to say, oh, look, the calculation this guy did 200,000 years ago didn't work. It was wrong. No shit, dude. No shit. So Draconis is a genius. And he's also a chat because he's people complain about him giving the Gate of Dark to Mom Dark. What's wrong with that? I mean, imagine what would happen if he didn't do that.
What would happen actually? Because it is his. It is under his domain. He did not have shared it with anyone. He did not have done all this splitting up of the Taist. Taist could have been just one tribe, and they might have found other reasons for civil war. But why go to the bother of? Sorry, Lee. What? What's so wrong with what I'm saying?
No, nothing. Continue.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. I'll just wait. Nif, go on. Rip it apart.
No, but what else you mean? I'm not even sure that if Draconis hadn't granted the Throne of Dark to Mother Dark, that the story of the series could have been anything like it is. I'm not sure if there is no Taist Andy and no warrant system, or at least hold system, if there would have been any way of passing from dark, light, and shadow to the modern human warrants that we see in the main series. And while the I know what you're thinking. I use the term main series, but when I use the term main series, I
No,
mean
no, no.
Book of the Fallen and
To mean
novels.
all 16
When I
books.
use main,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
the present timeline, what we think as the present timeline. So no prequels, no sequels. So I don't even think that we could have had like what Esselman calls paths, and Erickson just warrants, human warrants. I don't think we would have had that. And then if he hadn't done Dragnipur, I'm not sure the Malazan world will resemble what it is in the main timeline.
See, ultimately, his actions move the story, and we have what we're seeing right now, and all that. That is all fine. Okay, he's important to the story. All I'm saying is, what was his motivation? He just wanted to get with Mother Dark, so he just gave her Dark. What kind of a useless motivation is that? Like, how do you call that Chad? He was not really thinking, isn't it?
This is probably like the only time in the text where where Galen actively defends Draconis.
So that itself should tell you that this is not something you should be supporting.
What is a good motivation? Like,
I don't know, for the greater good of people or something.
If I-
Not to like.
who cares? Who cares? Who cares the greater good? What's the point of the greater good? I mean, the greater good doesn't mean anything if you don't have human experiences. What makes the greater good make sense is if you understand what it means in a concrete way. If Draconis was a heartless, hyper stoic guy, there's no greater good to be appreciated. If you're a being that can't feel love or friendship or anything like that, there is no human experience to be preserved. And I think, I'm not sure, if Erickson is listening to this, he's probably going to debunk this, but I think the Book of the Fallen rests on this existentialist idea that there might be no meaning, but we have to construct on top of the nothingness. It's either the absurdism point of view of Camus or the existentialist point of view of Sartre and de Beauvoir. It's the same. There is no meaning. You have to build on top of that meaning. If you have no human experience, if you're just a heartless god, there's nothing to build upon. Human experience doesn't make any sense. There's no reason why to save humanity. Why? Like, I need you to go back to Midnight Tides and read what Mile tells T-Hole. And then there's another discussion between Kroll and someone else. I don't remember if it's the one with Grease and the one with Mile. I don't remember. But it's the Sathani don't remember where they came from. When they try to remember their origins, they just remember an eternity in the past with no life, them just existing in the nothingness, in the darkness of time. The Sathani gain like some sort of humanity when they start interacting with mortals. Who knows when? Probably in the far past. And the Sathani, without this interaction with mortals, is essentially like a deist god. It's a god that doesn't care about anything, that doesn't interact with anything. Nothing means anything to them, so they don't interact because why? So Draconis is important because, yes, he fell in love with this already semi-goddess because she had been in the spar of Andy already. Yeah, he gave her the gate, so what? It's not like Olorethil, Kilmandaros, Racing Farm, Kroll. It's not like any of them have never done anything because of an emotion, because they all have different emotions, to be sure, but
Okay,
emotions nonetheless.
Right. So I really don't have a response because I don't remember what these other guys have done. And
I mean, there is talk about like Male's temper and Erasmus being a dick all the time, and Cruel opening his veins to give magic to mortals because whatever emotion he feels, I'm sure he explained this better than I remember. And all our Ethel doing what she does with Raul.
Raul is a communist or a lizard revolutionary.
That's one way to view it, yes.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean on Raul, I mean Kroll.
Yeah, I got it, yeah. Then what does it make Vicarium? He's like the latest Windows update.
Okay, Nift rolled his eyes up to the sky and is now shaking his head.
He's not an elder god.
Huh?
Vicarium is just a guy.
He's not. Yeah.
Vicarium is just a guy. I don't know why people make such a fuss about him. It's just a dude. Insanely powerful, but I mean, it's just a dude. And I mean, he made the new warrants, but he had to use a machine for that. Quill did it herself.
Okay.
Ikarian needed a machine for that. So what the fuck? I don't know why people make such a fuss about Ikarian.
I birthed a god, motherfucker. What did you do? You know who Dice was before me? Fucking nobody.
Oh god. I can't
I mean, he used a
believe
machine, Lee. A machine. He used a machine. It is like imagine a blacksmith back in the day forging this amazing knife, this amazing tool. He can't just use a machine, an automated tool to make another tool. What the fuck?
It's like ISO certified sheet metal, like tenfold sheets.
Yes, exactly.
Like fuck off.
Thank you. Thank you. In fact, I imagine Goddess and Ikarian like in Christmas. Like, oh, look, Ikarian, your Warren making machine just got to us. We just need to assemble it. And Ikarian is like, the manual seems a bit tricky. And Goddess says, no I give you a hand, no problem. And the box is like, Warren making machine. Acme.
some parts might be missing.
Okay, that last one was excellent. Okay. Who's the roadrunner in this analogy? Who's the beep beep raced?
Probably the neglected child. He was already neglected in Full of Light. He was already neglected in Full of Light.
Poor fucking guy.
I would love a sitcom with.
Okay, so
I can't stop laughing that he used him. Sorry, yeah, you were saying something about his sitcom. What?
I would like to read a sitcom with Rice, Goddess, and Ikarian. It would be really fun to see the dynamics. Because when you think about it, it doesn't seem that Rice had any beef with Ikarian.
No.
It seems like they will be just like two brothers. Like, And when you think about it, Gethel doesn't seem to have any beef with Goddess either.
I don't remember reading Gethel in Kharkanas. Does he
Reading
show up there?
Where?
He's a bit pissed at him because he left him in Nazath house for a few hundred years, but other than that, he's fine.
Gethel shows up in Full of Light, and he talks with, and in the Book of the Fallen too, because Gethel is
he's the herald of death.
The herald of death.
I remember
and
the Book of the Fallen Gethel. Yeah. And then Brucalion carves his face.
But he's in Kharkanas too. He spends like 100
I don't remember.
Well, I don't know if.
Yeah, he spends a few hundred years in Nazath house, and it's based at Gotham for that.
Yes, yeah, but he actually gets out and goes talk to Goddess, and it's not like Goddess is like, you fucking. They are like, sup, bro? This happens, bro. You have to keep this in mind, bro. Bye, bro. And it's like, okay, they're just brothers. Nothing weird, no hostilities. Okay. So the thing is that they might be weird individuals, but like their family dynamic seems to be functional. No beef there.
Insofar as jagged can be functional.
Yeah. But Rice is supposed to be like full jagged, isn't it?
Yes.
Compared to this mission using half jagged.
It's supposed to be full jagged.
Is he? Wait.
Rice, of course.
Sorry?
Yeah. Rice is a jagged, not a jagged. What that means is that they don't have the same mother.
Rice was, that's right. And Rice was already present during Kharkanas, but we haven't seen Ikariam, so that's why we're all expecting either Lhasa Rook or, you know what, because Erickson is going on saying Lana Rook in all his interviews, I'm now confused whether it's Lhasa or Lana. It's Lhasa Rook, right? So, but I think Nif, you are very strongly of the opinion that it's Kilimandaros is Ikariam's mother, right? No? Who do you think is his mother?
Come on, misconception. I was sure it was her, but I asked Erickson and he said, no, we don't know. So it means that he wasn't thinking about that when he came up with the character. So I don't think we will ever know. Because when you think about it...
There's a chance that Ikariam is already present.
When you think about it, is Ikariam special because he's parents or because what he does? So it kind of makes sense that Erickson didn't think about his mother because that was a point. Like, he's special because who he is, not because he has important parents in key places of power.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I think we finished discussing Icarium and Draconis. What is left?
So,
I was waiting more pushback with Draconis.
we did libel Draconis about him inciting civil wars.
I mean, if he had stayed mom, nothing would have happened, right? Why
Okay.
did he just elope with Mother
Civil
Dark?
wars?
He didn't have to give her Darken.
Okay.
You're going to say civil wars are good?
Civil wars are a civilization hazard. They're going to happen anyway. You should not stop giving cosmologically modifying gift to the woman or man you love just because it might trigger a civil war that separates three races and three cultures. Who cares? It's going to happen anyway.
I'm so happy
now
I'm
as
drunk.
Draconis apologetic sense. Ral is already ambitious as fuck. Centaura is faithless. Emerald is faithless. Eurosandra can basically do nothing. So, you know.
Yeah, but we're downplaying the role of Batha in all this. It's easy to blame Draconis,
The role
but
of who?
what the fuck did Batha do? Batha
Oh,
or
okay.
Sandra?
Okay. All right. Bring
Like,
it on.
what about his role? What about his role?
What about his role?
Oh, sure, my lieutenant Honral is genociding civilians. I am going to punish him anytime now, but not right now. Damn, Honral, why did you do that? Okay. Anyway, damn, this guy committed war crimes that benefit me. Incidentally, I'm not going to punish him for now. There will be justice, but not just right now. But there will be. But not now. But there will be. And yes, I'm going to punish him for benefiting my cause, but not right now. But I will, because there will be justice. But not now. But eventually. One day. Anytime now. Anytime now.
This is blasphemy. This is utter blasphemy.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I have a bias against those golden guys of
So you mentioned that you shouldn't be stopped in giving your cosmologically altering gifts to your wife or whatever you love because civil war might happen. Why should you stop your genocidal murderous lieutenant if you want to live the good life?
You don't have to. Don't pretend. But don't pretend you disavow him when you clearly don't. And don't pretend to be Mr. Justice when you aren't. I mean, that's the frustrating part of poker. There will be justice. Where? Because look,
there will be.
For all their failings for Crow, they are somewhat consistent. The Leosan aren't.
I agree.
So I think we're viewing this a bit too one-dimensional.
That's because I don't have enough.
It's the consistency of the Forkroller, like killing everybody.
Actually, just let's take a step back. 1 second. Are we like seriously judging them on their consistency? And
do you dispute this?
I think that's what
they are consistent. That's not a lie. That is true.
They consistently kill everyone. Yeah. So they're doing good job. These guys are not being consistent.
It's not just that.
They are following through.
They actually have an internal hierarchy that they kind of respect, and they have actual disagreements between the ideological things. And you see that essentially in Assail. You realize that the tribe that was in Assail is nothing like the one that was trying to co-opt the heart of the crippled god. They seem to be very different in the way they practice things. They seem very culturally different. So they do seem to have healthy differences, but the Leosan are the most self-serving thing that you find. Completely self-serving.
No, I thought that difference was probably because of because it was Erickson writing there and Esselmont writing Assail. But it could also be because the ones in with the crippled god weren't those guys invigilators, or they had a different term, isn't it? They were called something else. Inquisitors. These guys are just regular citizen for Assail in Assail.
I don't think they were regular.
And their society.
I don't think they were regular.
They're all assail, which is a priestly caste, but among the ranks they're all equal, so they don't have names.
But they
So in a
still go around
sense,
calling themselves
And like,
Serenity
yeah,
and
the other thing is that in a sale they were like all dressed like very plainly. In the Crippled God, like that was not the case. Like you could recognize ones from the others, and there was actually no talk about the peers and the non-peers in a sale. That was only in
in
the
Assail.
Crippled God. So
Yeah.
what I imagine is that they're not like the same. It's not even the same culture, which is weird because they're supposed to have cleansed all the descent. But the point is not about the assail. The point is how the Osan suck and have it coming. All that happens to them.
okay, I don't dispute that. I don't
Yeah,
dispute
no,
that the Leos
nobody's
suck.
disagreeing with, Leosan as
I'm just
in
saying
general.
that your Sander's getting a bad name because of the Leosin being awful.
I don't know. Maybe when we read, we'll try to redeem Sander. Let's see. So,
I mean, okay, so
Anif,
I think he gets a bad. Okay, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm dropping this.
I think Urasander is responsible for how bad the Leosan are. That's my take.
okay. The I don't remember enough to either agree or disagree with you. So I'll raffle. Actually, the last time we spoke, I was in the middle of novels of the Malazan Empire, and now I finished it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
should we talk about the Crimson Guard? Because that was fun.
Sure.
And yeah,
I remember you had some questions.
Fun is not a word to describe the Crimson Guard with. But yeah.
fun in the sense I did.
I remember you had some
Me?
questions about where things were going. So yeah, let's talk
Yeah,
about
I
it.
was hoping. Yeah, because no, it sort of ends in a hopeful manner where Shimmer and Bars, go off into the sunset. So I don't know. It was not that bad of an ending because initially I felt bad that they're all become Tilan and undead and whatever. But ultimately, the ending was nice. It was sweet. So I don't know. Did I have questions? I had a lot of theories. I had a lot of very foolish theories, but
Yeah, I remember that I told you that there was one character that showed up early on in Return of the Crimson Guard, and she
not
was a
written.
key.
No, Nif. It was not written. It was in Blood and Bone. That scene where Kaz takes them to take the vow, and Shimmer remembers seeing this dark, short woman at the, just a little bit far away. I guess that is either Kilava or Olarithil, and with that, I guess that it is probably Tilan. So it turned out to be Kilava, isn't it? So
It was Kilava. And ultimately, the point is that
yeah.
the vow they did was essentially the same that the Imas did. Yeah. So when I got to Assail and saw what was happening, I was like, really?
So ultimately, my take was that
Your take was?
Kaz is more or less a moron because he should have known what he's doing when he took the war and made like the 600 people take the war along with him and doomed all of them. Why did he pick that area that was so
He
close
knew-
to the Tilan ritual and he knew? Is that what you think? He knew what he was doing.
He didn't know what he was doing. He eventually realized, but not at the moment
Yeah.
of the vow. Because why would you ask a mere mortal that is not particularly good mage? I don't think Cass is an actual skillful mage. Why would he know? When even Kilava, that is like a
Yeah, he
bondcaster who
doesn't
knows so
know.
many thousands of years, she herself isn't quite sure what's going on.
No, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't even know what the gravity of the situation. He just takes all 600 of them and, makes everyone swear it individually and dooms them all.
Yes.
So, very
On
short
his
sighted.
ancestral ground, it's symbolic, no?
What
How is it
stupidity?
short-sighted?
It's the Malazan Empire. Why would you swear
It's
like you will never
symbolic.
die against an empire? It was not symbolic, isn't it? Ultimately, it was not symbolic.
Okay.
It happened for
Yes.
real.
How would you know that?
He should have thought
give me
about
one
it. That's
second,
what a
one
good leader would do. He would
Yeah,
think
give me
about the
1 second.
repercussions of. Yeah, go on. So, what did you think, Nif? Do you support Kaz?
In what sense?
Do you think he did a good
Because-
thing, or did he was short-sighted and didn't think through the consequences of taking an eternal war against Malazan Empire and all that shit?
The problem is that I don't side with the Crimson Guard. For a very
You
simple
don't
reason.
what?
I don't support the Crimson Guard. I'm not siding with them.
Okay.
Because as far as I can tell, there is a feudal system. You have a noble of a feudal system resisting a new political model, which is the empire. So while Cass is a noble that owns land and probably serves since who knows how back in history just because of his blood and name, the Malazan Empire was created like by people that came from nowhere. Well, not came from nowhere, but basically built that empire bottom up. So it's essentially the old trying to resist the new. I have no sympathy for the novels of the Crimson Guard. None whatsoever. It's just reactionary. Simple as.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. I think Lee was very upset that I called Kaz a moron.
Okay.
I don't think he's a moron. I just disagree with him politically.
Because
and when Erickson and Esselon write about the new democratic order in New Morn, and you have the Malazans opposing New Morn because it's a democracy, I will be siding with New Morn and not with the Malazans. It's the same. Oops! I just told you a spoiler.
What is this New Morn? Where is this? Where does this happen?
It's a long story. I'll tell you now. But Lee was going to say something, but I'll tell you now.
No.
Spoiled something from Kellenwood's Reach, is it?
No, New Morn is in a left probably. It's mentioned in a few epigraphs in The Ghost and Willing.
Oh, that's okay. I've read that. So, but I don't remember
It's in
what.
the Book of the Fallen.
I really don't remember.
Yeah, that is not mentioned because it's probably something Nif knows, but we don't.
Okay, Cash. Here it is. And in the Book of the Fallen, every time we read about the late Malazan Empire, the epigraph says this, and this, Library of New Morn.
Oh.
So we know that New Morn is something that goes after the Malazan Empire falls. It's somewhere that has a library where people have written about the downfall of the Malazan Empire. That's number one. Number two, in, I don't know if the crippled god of, or Dust of Dream, Gruntle is having one of those trippy dream visions, and he finds another cat, I think it's a panther. And they're talking, and she tells him, I come from New Morn. And Gruntle is like, but Morn is the place that the Matrons destroyed. So you come from the past. And that's the problem. It's from the future, not from the past. So whatever the rent in Morn was created, there's going to be a seat in the future. And presumably somewhere like where the downfall of the Malazan Empire will be recorded and stored and written about. So it's in the Book of the Fallen and in the Gods Not Willing. We know that New Morn has to be something in the future that sees the Malazans fall.
But why are you calling it a democracy then? Like, is there some obvious evidence?
It's just a hypothetical. I'm just being edgy. I'm just trying to create the most divisive juxtaposition possible. Like, okay, monarchy was opposed to the empire, and then we will have some form of democracy, and the empire will be opposed.
Okay, all right.
And I was saying that it was a spoiler, so that you thought that I somehow had some sort of inside information that I don't have.
No. I thought you had some spoilers about Kellenwood's Reach because that's the book I have not yet read. But yeah, this is fine. This is just makes sense.
No, I was talking about spoilers.
It's just that
the Witness Trilogy 3.
3. Yeah. Do you think we'll see the Empire fall in the Witness Trilogy?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
Erickson just said that there is probably going to be like a big battle or big showdown or something in the third book.
Yes, the problem is that I think...
Sorry, I'm just...
When people think about the downfall of an empire, it's easy to think that it happens in a week, and then one specific day of that week, that's it. The empire has fallen. But actually, most of the times, you only realize that an empire has fallen in hindsight after many, many years. And this thing, because I remember when I was a kid and I read the history books, it said, this day, in this specific date, we consider that the medieval age finished and the Renaissance begins. That's ridiculous. Nothing is that clear-cut in history. Like, this specific date.
No,
not even when you declare independence does the actual independence manifest. Like, these are things that manifest very slowly through time, and it's difficult to put a clear-cut division between one thing and the next. So I think that the fall of the empire is going to be,
in Path to Ascendancy, because this is all the prequels, isn't it? Like, we are seeing how exactly things played out, which we know by history and by word of mouth, that these guys took over Malaz Island and they entered the Azath house and became, they traveled all the warrants and all this stuff. It is so much fun. It is such a messy, crazy ride. It doesn't happen the way it is told, because to tell, it is just a summary, what people tell. that Mock was there, and these guys took over the pirate Mock, and took over his holding, and that's how they became, rulers of Malaz, and from there they established the empire. Nothing is so clear cut. It's just not going to happen that way, and it is so much fun. And there is, I don't know, because one thing to differentiate between events in what we see in Book of the Fallen and events in Kharkanas, we can see the differences, we can see the contradictions. It's a little obscure, but it is a little hard to digest. But for some reason or the other, the discrepancies I see in Path to Ascendancy it is just so much fun. Like, do you remember what Atrasil thinks? Like, what happens to Mock? I think she has a very clear memory of Dancer killing Mock, and she escaping from there because she couldn't bear to stay and protect him or something. I think she has this sort of a flashback in Gardens of the Moon. I can tell you that nothing even close to 5% of that happens in Dead House Landing. It's like it's so much. It's just vastly better than just thinking that Dancer somehow infiltrated Mock's hold and slit his throat and all that. It's just so much better the way it happens. So yeah, as you say, history is.
What I would like to see is that the empire either doesn't fall with Malik as emperor or doesn't fall because Malik is emperor. I just want my boy Malik vindicated. That's it.
My boy.
You come to my podcast and say this shit.
You will when he's when he what do you call, he put on Urusander, you were fine. When he came after Malazan Empire, you were fine. But Malik is where you draw the line.
I mean, I cannot in good faith say that Eurosanders did a good thing, But Malik? Fuck off. No. I made a living by dissing Malik Rel.
Lee's like the Godfather. So you come to my house and say this about Malik, but you don't say it with respect.
But I've never heard anyone call Malik Rel as his boy. But even here, even in Path to Ascendancy, there is a lot of hints about the Distal being bloodthirsty people and all that. He sets it up very well. He sets it up very nicely. I don't know. Cam is fun. It's just so much fun to keep reading.
And the best part of talking with them, without the cameras on, is that you see so much more of their interests when they write and their interests in general, like the stuff they like to read, the stuff they like to read about or think about in general. And it's like super cool. Like Cam is like this super smart guy that thinks super fast. Like you make a comment and he comes up like with some reference to something that he read about, like super fast. And it's something like you don't really get to appreciate these kind of things in just an interview, like in this kind of structured formal interview. Like these guys are super smart and always come up with like some kind of connection of what you just said. That's super cool. But I don't know if he's going to, because we
call him Admiral Ships, isn't it? So, but turns out it was all wish fulfillment. That's what he told us in his interview, that he's not a sailor or anything and all that. It was all just research.
But he likes ships.
I was really surprised.
Yeah, but he
just
seems to
likes
like them.
them. Yeah, but yeah, he does. Yeah.
So I like. It's so funny because every time they ask him, like, so what is it that all your books have ships for cover? And he's like, I have no idea. And then AP is like, dude, have you read your own stories? Like, there's ships in all of them.
Yeah, and there are huge ship battles and all that. It's not like just ships show up. Everything happens on the ships. And yeah, I think only Dance's Lament did not have a proper ship voyage or anything. But Dead House Landing has. And I'm hoping Kellenwood's Reach also has. But this is his strength, this fun, zippy stories. That's his total strength. He's really good at that.
I think it pairs really well with Erickson because on account of being a world builder and an RPG player, I kind of get where Erickson's coming from, this reverence for his past characters, Anomander, Dancer, stuff like that, and then having Cam come along and just stare it all fucking down, like, no, this guy's an idiot. Look at this fucking guy.
Cam doesn't respect his own characters. Kellenwood is like...
Of course he doesn't.
Yeah, that's the point. Oh god, it's so much fun.
That's what's funny, yeah.
Okay, wait, this is something I wanted to tell you. There is this a book about cancer survivors and stuff. written by a counselor. I think it's called Kitchen Table Wisdom or something. Anyway, the thing is, she makes this arbitrary distinction between a writer and an author. Okay, it's not scientific, but she just means that a writer is someone who just likes to write, who likes the craft of writing, who writes for the sake of writing, and an author is
Mhm.
someone who wants to tell a story, who has something to tell, and it doesn't matter how it comes out, but what they are compelled by is the story of what they're telling. So if you see like that, I think Cam is an excellent author because he is the creator of this. I don't know. He was the actual DM, isn't it? Like he built up the world, and Erickson came along and started learning D&D from him and all that. So I don't know. So Cam has all these excellent stories to tell, and he just tells it in a very straightforward manner. Whereas Erickson is the writer of the duo. So he crafts the story, he crafts the narrative, he crafts the writing and the words and the sentences and all that. So this is something because when I read that introduction, I was thinking there's such a clear distinction between these two guys and the way they write their stories. That's all. So I'm a little high. So
I thought Lee was going to say something. Yeah, the problem with using the distinction
Oh,
author and writer is that it is the battleground of the modern literary discourse because this is a distinction made in Death of the Author. Essentially, an author is a critical construct that we use to do criticisms of works, not just books, but essentially books. So an author is something that the critic constructs. It's an abstract construct. And then you have the writer, who is the person that performs the writing. So there's this tension between the two notions. And people that read Death of the Author but don't understand it say very dumb things about what an author versus a writer is.
okay.
If you use those terms outside of the essay, that's fine. But there are people that actually read the essay and still use the two distinctions like very in a very weird way. But the problem of that distinction for me is that you can still use the notion of an author to do criticisms. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Like claiming that the author is dead is just a lens to analyze things. You can still remove that lens and think about this as if there was an author, or that's just totally fine. But the thing about what you mentioned is that I think that Esselman was the DM in the Cripple God campaign because we know by comments of both of them that there was the Cripple God campaign. I think that they alternated. That Erickson did some of them, but yeah, like you say, Cam was the what did they play before GURPS? Was it D&D?
D&D
D&D.
2E, I think. Or 1E. Yeah, 1E.
Yeah.
A D&D, I think.
So yeah, Cam knew D&D. He introduced Erickson to it, and then they tested GURPS. So yeah, Cam was like the one that knew about this weird form of doing creative writing preparation. Oh, by the way, I have never played RPG.
You not? Really? Yeah, that makes two of
Never
us here.
ever. I play RPGs, but computer RPGs. I grew up playing those, but like tabletop RPGs, never. And I would like to, but you know.
Okay. Oh, recently we found this Malazan source book for GURPS, which is like 160 pages, and apparently that is like the norm for GURPS people to write books that big. I was really blown away. Like it was 160 pages of in-depth descriptions of all the magic systems and all the spells you can use, and there was a lot. I don't know how
That's
people
like
do that.
on the low side.
Oh
Just
God,
saying.
I knew it, Leah. I knew you would jump in with that.
I mean, for a homebrew project, 160 is a lot. I'm not gonna take away from his work because doing it for like your own hobby, 160 pages of a different like source is a lot of things, right? But for like official quote unquote books, it's on the low side.
No, the
So,
official books, somebody is like
official
paying
books
them.
are expensive as dicks. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that somebody is being paid to write that. But this guy,
yeah,
I think he just came up with it on his own because he likes Malazan. So I don't know, 160 is a lot. Right?
it is quite a few. Yeah.
So do you have any more hot takes, either of you?
Yeah, there you go. Go on, if you impress me.
Impressed?
I think there was one more. I think there was one more point we had to discuss. Yeah, but I don't remember now. Was it Kharkanas?
I only noted the Drac one. Did we have something else? I don't know.
I was expecting more pushback from the Drac.
No, the The actual talker today has, I don't know, has a sore throat, so he's not
Yeah.
responding.
I mean,
I'm fine
overall,
with
I'm
this.
not too willing to push back on the drag because
know
I
what?
respect Kharkanas.
If you want
I don't hate
pushback,
Kharkanas.
Nif, you know what topic to bring up. If you want pushback from me,
Oh God. Okay.
From you?
but no. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the most controversial take I have ever made in the Malazan fandom, ever. And actually, this is the only
one?
topic that
Which one?
has made some fans. The whole point of Malazan is retardation of of payoff. So wait until I rant about 5 minutes before I tell you who I'm talking about. It's a standard Ericsson thing. So this is the only character that has made fans literally tell me, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. Read Dead House Gates. House of Shanks again. You don't know what you're saying. You don't know about anything of this. And these are the same people that say, that was a very good response. You know so much about Malazan. But when I criticize that one character, is like, no, you don't know what you're saying. It can't be. It's not possible.
You know what? I'm. It's you and Lee and Zillia Man on the sub. You three have extremely hot takes, and I talk to you people the most. And you know what? It's the same thing. All of you hate Karsa. All of you. I don't know what else, Lee. There are some few things which repeatedly you guys have the same stand, and I feel like
Yeah, it's like
a
monthly
minority
midnight
because.
tides and
Yeah,
T-Hall
hating
and
midnight
Beak.
tides, hating leather, hating Tehol and bug,
I don't
and
hate
not
T-Hall
finding
Bug.
things.
Fine.
Yeah,
Fine,
but still,
okay,
yeah, but
intensely
Celia,
dislike Tehol and bug. And what?
yeah, but Celia's transgression, it cannot be forgiven.
What?
Shots
It
fired.
can't. Like
Jesus.
Celia,
Okay, what did they do
Celia,
now?
Celia hates Beak. How the fuck do you hate Beak?
Beak. Yeah,
Like, bro,
Okay.
I do
Alright.
too.
how do you hate Beak?
I'm sorry. This is the pushback you
What?
wanted. See, I
Woo.
don't hate him. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen. I finished Reaper's Gale, and I think I didn't like the book all that much because I thought Udinas and the others were quite boring. And the whole Red Mask, I was very invested, and then I was sad that he died. And then when I came to the sub, and I was like, what? And the whole thing I remember about Beak,
Wait,
which really stood out to me was,
wait.
excuse me.
Let me get this
quickly.
straight. You are sad that Red Mask died, but you don't give a shit about Beak dying.
Yes.
Is that what I get it right?
Let me. It's not that I didn't give a shit, but the whole thing about Beak.
A racial
Nif.
a racial supremacist Red Mask.
Now we're going to shit.
The very
Red Mask.
See,
genocide.
that story.
You're sad that
because
he died, but good boy Beak,
it is
who did
extremely
nothing
tragic.
wrong.
Come on.
Who did nothing wrong? You don't give a shit about. These
Okay.
people.
Okay, Red Mask is something I can understand because it's his own identity. He's supporting something which has to be against him. He's pushing back against so much of doubts and all that from people around him that he starts wearing a mask 24/7. That is something I can completely understand and I completely agree with. Beak was please don't respond. He was a minor character at best. And then when he did the candles thing and died, the only thing that really stood out to me, two things stood out to me. One was Hellion waking up and thinking, why did they all bleach their hair white? What's so funny about that? And the second thing was who taking him into the gate. That was sad. Yeah, that is a little sad because he was able to meet his brother and he sort of like regained his innocence. And that was nice. That was sad, but it was nice. Wait. And then when I came to the sub, and I see everywhere people posting candles and saying, oh my poor Beak, and people crying. I did not know that people cried over Beak. Seriously. Yeah, I'll wait.
Just give me a second. Just to give you an idea of the Beak fervor, I wrote a very long response comparing Book of the New Sun and Malazan recently. That response, which is many paragraphs long, stands at 69 upvotes. I posted 12 candles not long after that, and it sits at 79 upvotes. I'm talking about 12 candles, no other comment, nothing else. 12 candles.
Yeah.
This is how
I mean,
Big is a champion of the Malazan community. He just is.
I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that so many people found him so tragic and so
Erickson is
sad because
surprised too,
it
but I
did
don't
not
fucking
move me
understand.
much.
I don't know why. Like Erickson is like, I didn't expect people to like Big that much, and I'm bro. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
People love him.
I mean, I don't hate him, but he was just.
I'm going to keep quiet for my own sake.
You know what, Nif? I'm just noticing now. Lee exactly agrees with me 100%, but
I
he's
have
just keeping
shied away
quiet.
from this conversation because I am not ready to be confrontational right now. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
My
the thing
take
is,
is that Gar's Hourlong is a medium-sized fish in a pond that there are only small fish. That's my take.
Literally. Not even figuratively, literally. He's bigger than everyone else. I can beat the best of it.
The thing is, yeah, I was just surprised
mid-sized fish that never needs to fight with any of the big boys ever.
So, is this coming up because I don't like Beak? Is that why you're throwing Kasa criticism back at me?
No, that's the guy I was talking before you both Beak into the conversation.
Yeah. No, but that's because we were talking about Zil and
Karsa. No, the thing is that whenever I say that Karsa is just facing weaker people and not people of his size, people tell me that I should read again House of Shame. So all the rant I did before you mentioned Beak was about Karsa. This is probably my hottest take.
The thing is, there is not that. No, there is not that much pro Karsa sentiment anymore in the sub. That's what I'm seeing. It used to be that way. Oh God. And the thing is, all these anti-Karsa people are my friends, so I need to make new friends. It's like I feel like a minority, even though I have all these majority views about T-hole and bug and midnight tides and all those things. It's because of you people, all you Karsa haters. What would be your satisfying end to Witness? I think Lee has told me already. I don't want to hear that again. Nif, do you have a good prediction for how Witness should end? Lee, okay, fine. Yeah, Lee, go on. You also
I
tell
don't
me.
remember. What did I say?
You said something like if he was an old doddering fool who just,
I don't know,
something like lost his memory or something.
I need to refill, guys. Give me a moment.
Yeah, sure.
See,
Lee, that's very bad of you.
Keep talking. I'm just going to be mute.
Keep talking. Yeah. I'm just going to take Lee to task because why were you quiet when I was defending Beak? You agree with me.
I agree with you, but I am not in any position to be confrontational, and Nif is very, very drunk right now. I will dare me a new one if I become confrontational. So,
honestly, I'm surprised that Nif is such a Beak lover because I expected.
Yeah, it's just like I can see what Erickson was going for, and I can see that it worked. It just didn't work for me. It's just like
I was not even that impressed the first time I read it. Like
I know I was.
This fantasy hunter and all with candles in their usernames and all that, and I was like, what?
I mean, I reread that scene like 2 weeks ago and forgot it 20 minutes afterwards because the rest of the book is more exciting than Beak's death. I'm not fucking kidding. It's more fun to read about the rest of the book.
It makes total sense that Erickson is also surprised at the way Beak is received because it was just a minor happening. That's all.
For Karsa, I haven't really thought about it, honestly. I mean,
you said something like, what if he's like lost his memory and he's just stuck as an old fool? Something like that. You had a very weird take. Yeah.
I mean, so a lot of Karsa's storyline from Toll the Hounds onward has been struggling with his philosophy, right?
That's what you said. Something like he'll be stuck between doing nothing and
he has been for the past 10 years.
Yeah, something like that. That's what you were trying to say.
Right. So we're talking about Karsa and
should I
satisfying getting to Witness.
You know what my least favorite Book of the Fallen book is? My least favorite. Nope.
Gardens of the Moon. Oh.
Repair Scale. Repair Scale has
that's because you're a one-time reader.
Qualities.
Yeah, one is Beak.
First
obviously.
time I have.
What's the other one?
Yeah, and the other one is the drunken assault of Letheras.
Hellion, yeah.
Which, okay. I know AP said this like a lot, when Hellion does it, He's the hero. When Lassine does it,
What did Lassin do? Lassin was never funny. Lassin never got drunk
when Hellion
and
goes
Mr.
around
Touchy and
different
breakfast,
countryside slaughtering nobles.
No. See, the difference is
that's where you're
Hellion is cute.
that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. That's where you're
Am I
wrong.
wrong?
I never had
Okay.
any beef against Lassine. From Guardians of the Moon, I
No,
never had
I'm
any
just
beef
saying.
with Lassine because from very early it
I
is
know I
clear
did.
that she's not a vicious bad. It's very clear. If you don't believe that, it's because you don't want to empathize with what's going on in the Empire. But it's very clear that Lassine is not
I know
like
I
this
did.
vicious monster. It's very clear. It's very clear.
Please, like, oh, you're this. No, PTA.
Besides,
PTA guys. Just read PTA.
Lassine never gets drunk. Simple
Yeah.
as.
She's the ideal serving bench, isn't it? Who never drinks her own supply.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, fuck, that's a good point.
Oh,
Huh.
and whole Deadhouse Landings is all
she's
about smileys. It is so much fun.
She's a strong, independent character that happens to be also a noble.
Who's also
Sadly.
What else do you have? Any
We
other?
were supposed to be talking about Witness and
What I was telling you is
got.
that my.
Oh yeah, Nif.
What I was telling you is that my two. What? What I was telling you is that my two least favorite books in the Book of the Fallen were Reaper's Gale. One of them is Reaper's Gale, and the other one is Deadhouse Gate. Reaper's Gale is 10, and Deadhouse Gates is 9. I enjoy every other Book of the Fallen book more than those two.
Okay, see, Reaper's Gale on my first time read, yeah, I would have put it at 10 because I didn't like most of the stuff happening there. But now on a reread, Reaper's Gale is amazing. I can't get enough of it. But what did Deadhouse Gates do to you? Why do you put it at 9? Or rather, what did Deadhouse Gates
You want to
not
know
do
the
to
truth? You want to know the truth?
You what? Yeah?
You want to know the truth about this?
You don't
I
like
can
Coltrane.
handle it.
I don't
Yes.
enjoy action that much.
Okay.
And military
Okay,
action,
that's okay.
I don't enjoy it that much.
You know
So
what?
much of
You know
Deadhouse
what, Nif?
Gates, it's like
No, if my friend had told me that Malazan is the only things I was told was that it's a completed series and it has a lot of strong women characters. If I had known that it was a military fantasy, I would have not read it. Seriously. And Gardens was fine, there was no battles, but in spite of all these military actions, I found Deadhouse Gates quite interesting. It was a lot of fun. I don't know. Even I don't like it. I try not to read military fiction anywhere. But Deadhouse Gates.
My point is the following. You have a mix in every Malazan book between the military part, the introspection part, and the, let's say, not introspection, but like character interaction part. Deadhouse Gates has the most military aspect of it, and I enjoy it the least because of that.
Okay.
My beef with Reaper's Gale is not that it is a bad book, it's that it talks about things that I don't connect with. Maybe when I'm 40, I will connect with them. Now that I'm 34, I don't
You don't
connect
have to
with them.
reveal your age.
I just don't. I'm 34.
Like what?
I was
Like
born
which
in 89. It's not a shame. Look, I have white beard and all that. I'm old. I'm a boomer already.
Good God.
You are so drunk.
I like how Lee pretends.
right.
I like how Lee pretends that I'm young, but I'm not. That's facts.
Does he do that?
Mm.
Yeah.
I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, you know? I'm being nice.
Well,
Yeah.
my point is,
What are we talking?
So, after this moderately drunk tangent, I think we best return to the subject on hand, because it seems we'll have to do this again. So, Maura brought up earlier our predictions for the Witness ending. And given your insider knowledge about the new Moran democracy, I would like to hear your thoughts, Nif.
You know what? Your sober announcement voice. It's really good.
I think by the end of Witness, Rand will kill Karsa, and Malik will be dead also. But the Empire is not yet fallen at that point.
Do you think Rand is going to kill Karsa?
Broadest predictions. I think Rand is going to kill Karsa, and I think that Malik is going to be killed, but the Empire will still remain.
Rand Rand will, what do you call it when people become friends? He forgives Karsa and they sort of have a, semi-dysfunctional family relationship, and that's it. That's it, because the whole Teblor lands are flooded. So I think all the Teblor start settling in Darujistan, and that's it. I don't think Karsa is
This,
getting killed by anyone. Sorry, no.
I think this is a very heavy topic to talk about. There is a theme that Erickson explores in Kharkanas, and to some extent, he's exploring even deeper in Witness. The theme is, can every crime be redeemed or not? And if there are crimes that are not redeemed, is it worth it still trying to show penance for those crimes, even if you're not ever going to be redeemed? My answer to the question is that yes, there are crimes that are never made up for, so you're never past them, but you still have to try to make up for them, even if they are never going to be forgiven. I think that's where Erickson is going with this exploration. Karsa cannot be forgiven, even after all he has done to try to make up for what he has done. I think Karsa
The
has
thing
to
is,
face.
Which is very little.
It's not
he's
just
not done
one.
anything.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
I
one
agree with
thing.
that. As much as I like him,
It's not just rape. Rape, because that's the thing. Rape is one manifestation of that thing. But this idea that it is okay to mow down people indiscriminately just because that's what you judge as the right thing to do. This attitude of I create reality with my will and fuck everybody else. I think that's the thing that is being analyzed. Rape is an expression of that, an extreme expression of that, but not the only one. And Karsa, don't get me wrong, by the crippled god, Karsa has made up for that. And that scene with Munuk, Karsa is
Munub, yeah,
essentially
yeah.
manifesting the opposite of that worldview. He's manifesting the opposite, but what he has done before that, I don't think you can ever get past this. Those are crimes that you cannot delete. And I think Rand is going to take Karsa to task with this. And I can't
He
think
will
what else he
try,
will do other
but
than
then
kill him.
ultimately they will. No, he will try and then he'll change his mind. That's what I think. I mean, that's what I hope. Kasa is with Summer. Come on.
I had one more thing to say concerning the previous discussion.
Yeah.
People talk about Troll Sangar and how it is sad that he died in Ripo's Gale.
Oh,
Troll is a
God.
warrior
No.
defending
What?
his worldview. It's fair game to kill him if you disagree with him. He's in the battlefield.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care that he's the perfect guy. So fucking what? He's an ideological dude
What?
pursuing his ideological motivations and he got killed by an ideological opponent. It happens. It fucking happens. For
That
me,
was not a
Troll
battlefield.
died
Where did
is
Troll die? Troll was
infinitely.
being is just
What I'm saying
giggling
is
away
that
at the back.
what I'm saying is that I don't care about Troll dying. I care about Big dying. That's what I'm trying to say. But of course,
And
Troll
I'm
is
just trying
this
to say that
sexy,
you are wrong.
7
Nif,
feet
I'm sorry.
tall, noble spear wearer, of course.
By Sidur. Yeah.
But poor Big,
Come on.
but poor Big, who is a kid, I don't care about him, of course.
He's like late 30s, by the way.
Yeah, he's at least 30. Yeah, I know.
He's like 36,
See,
37.
I'm not trying to judge Beak because
Which,
I've
by
only
the way,
known him
Beak
for.
gets sympathy. He's 30 odd and gets sympathy. Crocus is like 17 and gets no sympathy.
Why are you bringing in Crocus? Wait, I have to defend
Who is
Ralph.
God
17?
damn it, people are ageist.
Give me a minute.
Who is
let me
17?
try.
Crocus is in gardens.
Crocus. Young hand. Crocus young hand.
Okay, here we go.
Can I, Nif? Can I just please?
If
I have to
Crocus
say
had
this.
died
I
in
can't let this
Gardens,
go.
if Crocus had
No one
died
would
in
have wept,
Gardens,
yes.
I wouldn't have cared the least. I think the series would have the same rating that I give it. Like, he's a character you could delete from all the. But he does nothing to me.
Come on, Nif. No.
Like for
No.
me, Crocus is a +0 to the entire Malazan experience. He doesn't take from it, but he doesn't add anything either.
But they were, him and Apsala are like, the overarching, the actual romance story of them beginning from
Apsalar
Gardens.
is compelling. Apsalar is compelling.
How
to
is
me.
she complete without this side story of hers?
Crocus is not. Because you can put
Crocus
anyone you
has to
want
be.
in the place of Crocus and it would have worked. Simple as.
How would it work? This Crocus is there from, I don't know, from book one, from the Gadrobi Hills, from where they met, from there till the epilogue when he comes back to Itko Khan. It's him. He is important to her story. I don't know how you can say that he's just plus zero, because
You can
without this, this makes the whole story complete. From first to last, we follow this young couple. I mean, I've hated Crocus through Gardens of the Moon, and I think it took me at least till Toll the Hounds. To be honest, till Toll the Hounds on my first read is when I like started noticing that okay, Crocus is a character and he exists and he's little more than just this young horny guy roaming around. But it made sense, and then when it all tied up together, oh God, stop shaking your head. Fine, I'll stop now. Go on.
you don't get it. When I hate a character, it has to be a very good character, a well-written character. I didn't even hate Crocus. I felt indifference for him. So I hate the Errant, but I hate him because he's a fascinating character. I hate the Lyosan, but they're majestic characters. Even fucking Lorik. I hate him because he's a very deep character in his own ways. But Crocus is like, yeah, he's there.
Really, do you want to defend Crocus? I think I've had my say.
I mean, I think the only thing I have to add is like people that dislike Crocus essentially are the distillate of ageist boomers in the Malazan community.
Okay, answer me this then. How come I like Grub?
Grub is a tiny teenage, not even a preteen boy. Grub is a tiny boy. No.
A small
that's when it begins. But by the crippled god, how old is he?
How old is he?
He has to be a teenager.
I don't think he's a teen, even in crippled god.
He's supposed to be 3 and in the Chain of Dogs, so he's like 10.
Okay, look. In teens, you have like early teens and late teens, and Crocus is solidly in the late teens. He's 17 when it begins.
Kind of the sort of how I don't fucking like Ganos in Gardens and the earlier parts of MOI. Okay, his balls drop when he talks to Nightchill in Memories of Ice, and from then on he's fine. But before that, he's annoying as fuck.
What?
Okay, all right. I said it. I call that out of my system.
This is clear revealing that he's just a late millennial that has a beef with the Gen Zs. This is the bigotry of youth.
Okay.
This is the bigotry. You're 20 years old and you suddenly have a beef with kids that are 15. That's the bigotry.
I just had to come on and say it. Fine, okay, but characters like Grub or like Felicent to an extent, or like Sin, albeit Sin gets a bad rap even then, they're too young to be considered, annoying and bad in the sense that they're bad. And then you have somewhat older characters like Beak, who's like 30, or the average soldier. Tavor is kind of the exception to this rule because like 20, 25 tops at the end. So okay, fine. If you want to bring Tavor for this,
older than that? Oh, she's younger than Ganos.
She's 1 year younger than Ganos, and Ganos is like 12 in Gardens. So,
he's 12 in
there
Gardens.
There is this middle ground of like late teens to in the prologue. So he's like 20 in chapter 1.
Yeah.
There is this middle ground of like late teens to young adulthood where they're just fucking insufferable and everyone doesn't like them because they're boomers. That's what I'm getting at.
What I'm saying
Even fucking
is
Erickson didn't like Crocus.
You know what's the origin of Crocus?
I have a few big ideas, yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
in the sense, he was written for the sake of the screenplay, isn't it?
Yes.
For the movie.
Yes. He's
not an originally played character. He's a
creation of the marketing world. It's basically, look, guys, if we are going to make a movie about this, we need a young guy that dudes can self-insert in.
Look.
And
no, look. See, Gardens.
I'm the target audience for that. That's the problem.
Okay, I think the talking audience should keep quiet for a while. The thing is, in Gardens, I can see how Erickson hated Crocus. He did not do any justice to that character. He made him a complete fool. He made him. Fine. Okay. The thing is, he
They
did not
didn't
do enough
hate him.
justice to Crocus as a character in Gardens, but as the series went on, it just became more and more in depth, and it started reflecting the way, a teen guy who's growing into adulthood, who is struggling with all the things, who's been like, I don't know, rejected by all the people he's met. He feels like a failure. He couldn't save Felicity, and the whole thing, his whole story, it just goes on. And even his homecoming is a disappointment, which is something you find out as you grow. And it just made total sense to me. And and then it all wraps up in Cripple God because he comes back to Uppsala and it ends. And I think that was beautifully done. And if you are just wrong if you say that Crocus was a +0 to Malazan. I'm done.
If you had Force, Sergeant Quartermaster Force fall in love with Absalom, it would have made the same amount of sense to me.
How can
And
you
I'm
say
choosing
that?
Force because he's a young guy too.
No, 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 no. It has to be
Crocus does
Crocus because
nothing to
Crocus
me.
makes perfect sense. And all the things where Apsalar is feeling bad that she's not with Crocus anymore and she cries with Cotillion and all this, this star-crossed lover story, which is, very, very under the surface throughout the series. It makes me feel so happy. It's such a nicely written thing. I don't know how you can just take away all that and say, Force, come on, Quartermaster Force.
Well,
I would read that, to be honest.
but let's
What? No,
let's do
Nif,
some.
give me a minute. I have to talk to my co-host. What did he say?
I would read a romance novel between Lieutenant Quartermaster Sergeant Force and Absalom.
I think, I think, I, I'm sorry. I'm speechless. Go on, Nif. I have no comebacks.
Let's do some analysis. If Crocus means 0 to me and means something to you, it means it doesn't need to be removed because it doesn't produce any negative feelings in the series for me, but it's positive for you, so it's fine that he's there. It's just like the Thartanol husbands in Fall of Light.
You
If
don't
they
like them?
did something for you, Fall of Light is not my favorite Malazan novel because of this, because of that bloodline. It was going to depose all the hounds, but with those three guys taking the middle third of the novel, is like, no. It's not that I don't like them, it's that they are men. So it dilutes the novel.
I don't remember enough about those three to say whether they were plus or minus or 0 to me. So I don't know. I all I remember is that I liked Lhasa very much and I was very invested in her story because I was just in my head, I was very sure that she and Gothos are going to hook up. So that is different. But these three, I don't remember enough. That's all.
Lhasa is great. The problem is the husband.
Yeah.
Lhasa plotline is super
I think
fun.
she would agree
The
with that.
problem is the husbands. Now, I don't know if the problem is that I haven't been married for 20 years, and so I don't understand what the husbands are talking about. It might be, but they don't speak to me. It's like, what is this? What are they talking about? Anyway, yeah.
So, all right. Is there any more favorite characters we want to put down before we call this a night?
Characters that
For
I
fear,
want, but
for fear
yeah.
of having my favorite characters shot down by you two, I'm just going to keep myself
Who is-
reserved.
Who is your favorite character
I mean,
that
I
we shut
I
down?
don't think any of my favorite characters just left anyway. After Surly, and I guess Galor, but you two both like Galor, so it's fine. I don't think any are hot takes, so I should be safe. But they're also not really rich discussions that haven't already been made. So
My
so
least
I will
favorite
die on the
character is
hill
the
that like
Errand.
Galor deserved better.
The
The
Errand.
Errand is my least favorite. So like, no doubt.
I think I've argued enough for the Errand. I've argued enough about him. So I don't know. It is just going to be a repetition because he's fine. He's just doing what he wants, like what he is compelled to do. I wouldn't blame him. I don't hate him. He's
Hey, he's just doing what he wants, right? That's the standard.
no.
So-
He's just doing what is he's being compelled to. It's
This
his
is
nature.
why Draconis is a Chad, because Draconis overcame his nature for love, whereas Rastas is
So-
just like a dickhead
so
that
you're-
kills carrots for fun.
Excuse me.
So you're
Wait, what is
saying
Draconis'
that-
nature?
So wait, what you're saying is that Asathonite are not bound by moral considerations because they don't have agency, because they are just automatons that follow whatever whatever, how is it called? Whatever their aspect is.
Their
Is that the
nature.
point?
Yeah. That's the
Yes.
point. Yeah.
So then Draconis is not dumb because he gave the Gate of Dark to Mother Dark because it was his nature.
That was not
And
his
he
nature.
made
That was his
Dragonpour because
choice.
it was
He
his
chose it
nature.
consciously. See, Dragnipur, I don't know because we don't have the history yet. We are not going to talk about Dragnipur because we have not seen it play out. But giving darkness to Mother was just I don't know. There is really no reason for him to do it. But his nature is not love, isn't it?
You're
His
saying
nature is to preserve dark.
you're saying that the Yasothani don't have agency. They just do whatever their aspect is. So the Errant is not guilty of anything because that's his aspect. So Draconis is not guilty of anything because that's his aspect. And Mile is not guilty of anything because that's his aspect. And Olar Ethil is
Listen.
not guilty of fucking what's the name? Yes, Onostulan, of fucking Onostulan because of her aspect. Kilmandaros just did what her aspect dictated.
She did also fuck Unreal. So.
I don't know what I unleashed right now.
But the Hornrod thing was consensual fireplay. Consensual fireplay. Everybody on board that.
Okay, you know,
you know what? I think
if we can just come back to the errant, it's his nature. Yes, but right. All I'm saying is the errant. It was his nature. He stands no chance when his aspect is randomness, whereas Draconis, his aspect is not love.
It's not actually randomness.
Is it love?
That's the problem.
What is his aspect? Sorry, what is that? What did I miss? What?
This is the problem with randomness. Randomness means that there is no intention behind. The errand is not quite randomness. It's an intentional push that you don't see where it's coming from.
No. Listen.
True randomness comes from such.
The result, he wants the result to be random. And for that, if he needs to do some pushes and some pulls here and there.
No.
That's not random.
No.
By definition, that's not random.
He wants a result. The way in which he achieves that goal seems random, but he has a goal.
I'm not excusing his actions in Kharkanas. I'm not excusing those. But if you talk about Book of the Fallen,
it's not about Kharkanas. It's about no.
I mean, what does nudging like Grace to die? Where's random in that? You know.
Why not? Like
the action,
because we can accept that Arthas is doing this for fun.
It was such an off chance that Bryce would just pick up the wine and drink because
it's not an off chance.
He was already drinking.
That's the point of
listen.
No,
he
that's the
drank
point of the Errant.
that milk from the cedar. No. Now remove the Errant as a character. Remove him. Forget that he exists. Think that all this happens just by fate or just by random chance. Forget that this errant character exists. These things will still play out. Bryce is known for picking up things and just drinking them. Wait. We've seen that before. We've seen him pick that spoiled milk from the cedar and just drink it and think that is a potion. He does the same thing with this poisoned wine.
He didn't randomly pick it up. He was pointed to drink that so that you can do your mission.
Who pointed him? Nobody pointed it. Was it something? Did it happen? No.
The Seta told him. Yes, the Seta told him you have to drink that before doing your trip. That was the point.
No, nobody told him that. No.
The Seta told him you need to drink something, and then Bryce picked it up. Nobody told him to drink anything in the throne room after he sliced filleted rhubarb.
That's what I'm saying. It was just random chance. You can't just blame the errant for Bryce doing random things at random times.
I am.
There's nothing random about it. There's nothing random about it. There's no randomness. The errant has an agenda, and he gets to that point by doing things that seem random to the others. The true random are Sech and his
he keeps talking about his game.
Opon. It's Opon and Sech
that
are actual random. But
he's
actually not random.
What do you think is the errant's goal here? Like, what is his goal?
Honestly, I think he finds it funny.
Yeah, that's
I think
because
it
it's
tickles him
random.
purple.
It's just random.
It's not random. I think he finds it funny to just sow chaos. It's not randomness, though.
What else do you call it? Like sowing chaos is still random.
I think no. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If
He's
he
not being malicious. He's not like trying to do
Yes,
malicious things and kill
he is
people
being
and cause it.
malicious. He is. Yes, he is. He wanted to kill
May the abyss swallow him whole.
Breeze.
He is a maker of widows.
He wanted to kill Breeze, so he did it. He wanted to kill Troll, so he did it. He wanted the Bone Hunters to die, so he made the Naruk to appear exactly in the point where they will sweep over the Bone Hunters. It is very deliberate. It's not at random.
Okay.
The Errant is a guy
Okay.
that wants to amass power.
Can I
He is the standard
can I say
bureaucrat
something
in
in my
any
defense?
democracy nowadays.
Yeah.
May I be allowed to put forth a defense of the errant? After talking to Erickson last week, he said, "Don't obsess over these things." I said something about the errant, and
I
people
told him I
hating
would
him.
obsess over these things. So,
He just said, "Don't obsess about it." So that's my defense. I don't have any other defense. But the thing is, I don't find that much to dislike in the errant. I don't find that much to criticize against him because I sort of understand. I don't think he's malicious. He's he's being random, and yeah, that's it. I'm not changing that for now.
That's fine. You can like him. Now you understand why I fucking hate me. Sorry.
I understand
him.
all your views, but I understand your views, all of you, but I feel like extremely the minority that I'm the only one who sort of like half forgives him because I sort of understand where he's coming from. But everyone seems to like uniformly hate him, which is not warranted.
Here's my problem, right? I would get that if characters like Male and Drek didn't exist. Right? If we saw that every god is being pulled by their desires and their worshippers and their aspects, I would be fine. Because like, okay, fine. He can't go above and beyond. But Male does, Krull does, Drek does.
In his defense, he gets a complete asshole like Featherwitch to be his high priestess. What can
and they
do?
deserve one another.
Yeah,
fuck
like
him.
One another, right? So if he deserves her, that means she's such a horrible person to have that kind of a person compel you as a god.
And why is Featherwitch able to compel him? Because she's
because she eats his yeah.
Can I have a question here? Would you have been okay if Tiam had destroyed the entire Malazan world because that was her nature?
Yeah. You know what, Nif? You know what I'm going to answer? I've not yet reread.
Because let me answer. Yes.
God, and I don't remember.
Yes, it would have been okay.
I don't remember.
Yes, it would have been okay for me. If Tiam killed everybody, including the Furkru, including the Yosen, every fucking body, I would have been okay with that. What about you?
Okay. I don't remember enough to have a comment there. Seriously. I don't know what to tell you because the whole thing is...
That's the nature of Tiam, chaos.
Chaos.
Tiam is true chaos.
That's fine. I don't know why I would have a problem with TM being TM because if that's a nature, that's fine. The only thing I will object to is Draconis. His nature is not love and giving away dark. That is not his nature. His nature is to have sovereignty over dark and rule it and keep it safe and preserve it. Why is he going around giving it to random ticed people who will then... I don't know.
Okay, and why is that a bad thing? Why is sticking to one's nature and not going above and beyond when your nature is objectively bad to others a bad thing? I mean,
I'm just saying that Drac had
characters that can't go above and beyond physically because of their aspect, like Korabas, for instance.
I don't remember Korabas, Lee. You know that. I don't know.
And then
you don't remember
Korabas that are like, oh, whoa, me, I'm so awful.
What?
Well, guess what, dipshit? It doesn't matter if you're awful because other people have already gone above and beyond. Drek killed her entire fucking priesthood for daring to challenge her and trying to impose her will on others. And when Featherwitch does it, it's like, oh yeah, well, shit, woe is me. God damn it, fuck me.
Wait, Nif was reacting about Korabas.
I feel no sympathy. I'm sorry.
I don't feel sympathy. I'm not explaining away the errand, but I feel his hate is like not as justified as you guys make it. He's just fine. He's okay.
I don't need a justification to hate people. I think there's a quote from that somewhere. I don't remember where that quote's from actually,
Oh God, I'm so.
but I know that's a quote somewhere. Yeah, we should probably wrap up. Yeah, it's like 2 hours already, so we should probably
Oh
wrap up.
God, like I don't know.
Okay, so both my co-hosts are currently drinking. That's excellent.
I'm drinking water. You see.
I passed the
So,
2 liter mark beer. This is my next half liter of beer.
So, if that gives any perspective for the night, do you friends have anything else to add while you're still somewhat tipsy, shall we say?
I stand by Karsa, and nothing
Right.
you guys can say can change it. Yeah, Team Karsa.
I stand by my boy Malazan, the savior of the realm.
You know what, Nif? If you want, I'll support you. Yeah, I have no issues with Malik Ril because no matter how he came to the empire and how he backstabbed people and did all this other unethical stuff, he's a good ruler. He's doing good to the kingdom and he's being a decent emperor. And I have no issues with him.
That's how we measure the worth of individuals, by how good they are to society, regardless
Yeah, it
of how
doesn't matter
horrible they
how
are.
they came to power. It doesn't matter.
Really?
It's,
Okay.
once he has the
No,
power, he's
no,
not
the
like being
thing- no.
corrupted.
He came from a very low place. He was being
Uh,
ethno-religiously persecuted because the Gestalt are an ethno-religious group. He was being persecuted, and he stood and pursued power and gained it. Took it away from a woman that
You
had
know what,
no
Nif?
confidence
At-
vote
at the
on her
expense-
basis.
At the
I'm-
expense of another ethno-religious group.
Of course, it's the business. But he proved magnanimous by showing the willingness to negotiate with this ethno-religious group, which shows that he's not a ethnic essentialist. He's just pragmatic.
So he's
You
not
know, it's
just
just
racist,
like,
he's racist when it's
listen.
expedient.
See, that's his nature.
That makes all the
So,
difference.
let's
If
excuse
you're
Ah.
fundamentally racist, that's wrong. If you're conveniently racist, that gets a pass in case if you revise your position later
No,
on.
see, he had to play the racist card because he wanted the kingdom to support him. It doesn't make him a racist, it just makes him a strategist, right?
Of course.
Then why go after the wicked in the
Simple
first
as.
place?
I think you
Because
have a
it was
lot of
expedient.
explanation
Because
because
he
the
had to.
they needed the food grains from the Wiccan plains and they wanted to convert them into farmlands
that
and
would be
because the
fine
kingdom
enough.
had a famine and yeah.
Okay, that would be fine enough as an explanation, but no, he just dislikes Coltane because he backslapped him in the face.
Yeah, he backstabbed Coltane,
Um,
but at the same time, he consolidates Coltane's rule, young Coltane's rule, in the Weekend Plains in
Accidentally.
Return of the Crimson Guard. Not accidentally. He made a deal with him.
Then he also entrenches his worship, which is a thorn in the Malazan Empire's army.
That's what
Because
I
it was
don't get.
Christian.
Like, it's not from Dead House Gates we get that Coltane is like this good guy. Why?
Why? Because at extreme, he takes enormous risk of his own soldiers who are not really treated well or not really respected by the Malazans. He, in spite of their own sacrifice, he tries to save the refugees. It's the refugees. It's all because of the refugees. He's a hero because he tries to save the common people, even though that means he has to sacrifice the army. What comeback can you possibly have for this, Nif?
I think
Seriously.
it's more because of how much it resonates with the people of the Seven Cities. Because the Malazans, the Mesla, the dogs, the scum, right? They are highly regimented, imperialist expansionist bastards. Goldane is part of his own tribe. He united his own tribe. He leads his tribe unquestionably, right? And eventually gives his life for what he believes is a higher cause, and that resonates more with peoples of the Seven Cities that believe in, like, the Seven Holies, the Symbolakis, the tribal stuff, the like, than would with the Talians, right, who are feudal nobles and apparently child slavers and the like. So that's why he has a following much more in Seven Cities rather than his than his native Quontale outside the Wiccan Plains. And that's why I think he's seen as a hero much later on. Now, why he's seen as a hero in the collective Malazan community? Because, well, I don't know, we like Coltane, we stand Coltane. I don't get it, honestly. I don't understand why people like Coltane so much for Duiker. I think Duiker is a much better character than Coltane is.
I can't. I should have screened you before we started this podcast. Seriously, what do you mean you like Duiker more than Coltane?
I think he's more. I think he's fucking fascinating. I think Duiker is fascinating. I think Coltane is very surface level.
Duiker is objectively a better character.
That's not to say I don't like Coltane. I think Coltane's fun to read for. It's just there's not much to look for beneath the surface beyond, oh, he's cool. He gave his life for the refugees and he died in an epic way. Cool. Duiker has a lot to look through.
Okay, look. Coltane is amazing. If you say anything below that, I am not going to let it into the final edit.
Coltane is okay. We don't like Coltane. We like the idea of Coltane, which is what we call in philosophy the second order observation. The point is not Coltane, it's the idea of Coltane.
I have no idea what that means.
The observation of what Coltane is.
I think Coltane still has the potential to become a very fascinating character because of his worship as a Black Winged Lord. Because of the nature of the Wiccans and how they work, we do not ascend, we reiterate.
And we do.
There is a very real possibility. Yes, go on.
Yeah, sorry. The child Coltane we see.
Yeah, we do see the real Coltane being reincarnated on the Wiccan Plains, but he's still being worshipped across the entire Seven Cities.
He's the Black Feather Lord. The Black Winged Lord is...
Yeah, so the Black Winged Lord is the rake.
There's a very real chance that we might see a Traveler December situation with Coltane, which I think would be very interesting to read about.
I don't know. The whole Traveler December, this whatever, the God of Tragedy thing, it doesn't make that much sense to me because... Sorry. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, fine. December.
The God of Tragedy.
I don't know. The AE is a Greek thing. You help us pronounce that. I just pronounce it December.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's the Latin of A. Yeah, I guess A would be. Yeah, I guess A is fine. Yeah.
So yeah, my point is that.
No, just 1 second. Did they name Dissemblacus because they wanted to bring the word dissemble into it when they named the first emperor? And what stands out to me when they talk about the geography names like Pan, Pot, Sun. that desert name just makes me laugh each time it comes on page. Pan, Pot,
Sun.
Yeah.
I like how fans are like, so okay, Erickson and Esselman are trying to figure out the name of this place. Oh, there is a pan, there is a pot, there is the sun. Pan, pot, sun. What do you mean?
That is like zero effort name. Pan, pot, sun. Like all the other names, think about it, like Jagodan or even Morn. Everything has some kind of sense, but this has to be some inside joke, right? Like
what blew my mind was the ninth Ruth, the elder warden of the thief, the ninth Ruth, elder Ruth. It's an anagram for under the sea.
Really?
Oh God, no.
If you take the ninth Ruth and do an anagram, it's under the sea. And I imagine Erickson and Esselman. Do you think they're going ever to find out? I don't think they ever will.
I'm completely behind it. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I think I've told you guys in the group chat that when they made Silka's ruin, they must have thought like, let's make him white skinned, but let's keep him Andy. He's not Leoson. He's just an albino ties to Andy.
Yeah, we were supposed to discuss that, and I have to say that I don't think that's random.
Really?
Yeah, there's someone in the Malazan community that discussed this subject with me. It's the counselor of Malazan. What she says is that there is a tension in Kharkanas between Selkas and the other Andy.
Yeah.
You're supposed to suspect there is this tension between Anomander and Selkas, not with Andaris, but with Anomander and Selkas. And you feel there's some sort of tension between the two. And you kind of feel that Selkas is somehow not just jealous, but it bothers him that Anomander is the one that is supposed to take the rule of the battle between the Andy and the Liosan. So the fact that Silkas is white when the Andy transform is giving some uncertainty on whether he's loyal to Mother Dark or whether he's willing to betray Mother Dark for the Liosan cause. Because he's not getting the place that he wants to get, and that place is being given to Anomander. And in the Book of the Fallen, it's not that difficult because he uses Corel Galen as a warrior. There is a scene in Reaper's Gale where he purely uses Galen. So he's an Andy. Shit. An Andy. No doubt about it. But at least in Kharkanas, you have this tension where, yes, he's supposed to be Andy, but he's albino. So is it because he doesn't fully accept the Mother Dark brand of doing things, or is something else? Is it something else? Is it that he doesn't fully accept? It's. I think that creates a very satisfying tension in Kharkanas that I hope it gets resolved in Walk in Shadow.
Can I say in like biologically? Because what Mother Dark does is basically like enhance the melanocytes in all of them and make them all like black skin because of excessive melanin production or something. And Silkus Ruin has no melanocytes. That's why he's an albino. So that's why he cannot be converted into the black skin typical Andy because he lacks it. It's just biology. And I really like it that Rake was given. Yeah.
The problem is that, as far as I can tell, Selkas is not albino before the transformation. He's just described as a regular Andy.
So even with the transformation, he cannot change into the rest of the Andy. Like he cannot become like one of them because he just lacks the biological aspect. He just lacks the cells. So
I should note, by the way, that albinos don't lack melanocytes. They just produce less melanin than usual.
Really? They don't lack?
No, they have melanocytes. They have a normal number of melanocytes. They just lack a certain enzyme to break down the.
So yeah, they cannot produce melanin. So even if Mother Dark blessed him, he was not able to produce melanin, isn't it? I think that's where we stand.
My point is that he was.
It's not about.
I mean,
he was not albino before the transformation. He's not described as being an albino before the transformation.
Are you sure about
did
that?
have
Seriously,
melanin.
Lee? Wasn't he described as being red-eyed and white?
I don't remember.
Okay. Oh, you know what? We are going to start reading the Kharkanas soon.
Yeah, we're gonna reread and make sure.
We will.
There's something. There's a very easy tell. Albinos have red eyes because even the eye coloring, they don't produce enough melanin to get colored eyelids. He doesn't have that.
The iris,
at least it's not mentioned in Kharkanas. Yes, the iris is not red. It's just a normal text before the transformation. So he's not.
If you don't mind, if you don't mind, give us a few weeks because we're going to start reading the Kharkanas.
We'll know soon, yeah.
And we will come back and tell you, yes, you're right, or no, you were wrong. So just give us a few weeks. We're going to start soon once Lee recovers. I think, should we start winding up?
I mean, do we have anything else to say? I mean,
we have a lot of stuff to say, but I think this is a fair place to stop recording.
We can go on for hours.
Oh, okay, Nif, closing thoughts. Tell us what we should look for in a reread of Kharkanas. Even though you read it only once, do you have any tips, advice, anything at all?
There is a scene about the host that is a bit troubling. I don't know if I should take it literally or not, but it makes sense to pay attention to that. So it will be the host swords, and wherever you can find about the relationship between the Forulcan and Greasing Farm, and of course the What else?
Honestly, the character I'll be looking most towards is like Renar and Sander.
No, I don't care about the Resander. It's this guy. He's
Narad?
He's not Narad. He's the Asathanite that can turn into a diver form, and he's the god of the Jelek and the Jek. Founder Tarak.
I don't remember
We'll
his name.
keep an eye out for him. No problem. We'll keep an eye out for that. For this.
Yeah,
As
he's
a
the
like
one that I
character.
suppose. I think he's the one that turns into Faraday and Top. I suspect. Like the wolves of the wolves of winter are the wolves of winter are essentially one individual diverse into two,
Mm-hmm.
and basically that's it.
Okay. So, Anif, just feel free whenever you want to talk Kharkanas and whichever chapter we are happening to read that week. If you're free, you're always welcome. Smileys will have a table for you. We'll reserve a table for you. So, feel free to pop in anytime.
Right.
Should we wind up?
I think so.
So, thank you so much. Thanks, Nif. Thank you, Lee. And this has been, this has been so much fun. And I hope to see you all again next.
This has been Smiley's podcast, masquerading as Smiley's Tavern. I apologize for being under the weather, but thank you nonetheless for joining us.
A real tavern. Real tavern with people drinking, truly drinking.
As Oscar says. So, in any case, I have been Lee, this has been Mora, and
bye. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.